Right, folks, so Jamaica will go to the polls tomorrow to vote. However, there are a number of concerns amongst the public as the number of COVID-19 cases are increasing. Last evening we had 244, the day before 102, the day before that 245, and it keeps going on. With us now is social commentator Dr. Raulston Nembhard. Dr. Nembhard, good morning, sir, and welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Sir, we've been having this discussion, and my colleague thinks that this is normal. Well, not normal, because it's not normal times, but we've had other countries that would have had national elections in these times. So my first question, sir, is there anything wrong with the government calling an election at a time like this?
All right. I was looking at some of the statistics around the time when the government called the election around I think about the 11th of August.
Yes, sir.
11th or 12th of August. And on the 11th, there were 8 cases. And then the 12th, there was 16. And it went up and down like that until we really started to see a real spike around the 26th of August. So the point I'm making is that when they did call the election, it was the cases were just about, not going up. The spike, we had not started to see the spike, what some people are calling the emancipendent spike, around that time, around the 11th or 12th of August. And then they made the decision that, it was now, or perhaps never. And so calling the election at that time, they had to make a judgment call. And the question is, are you going to delay it? And what is it going to be like, even if you waited until in February, when the election is due, or even 3 months after that? What would be the state of play as far as the virus was concerned? So sometimes we look back, say around the 21st or even the 30th of August, when the cases were really high, and we look back and we say, well, they shouldn't have called the election. But what was it like around the time when they did call the election and they made that judgment call? So I'm saying that it is a decision that they had to make in terms of balancing people's democratic rights in an election with regard, and at the same time recognizing that we're in the midst of a pandemic and that life, has to go on.
Yep, I know that we've had the special forces, they've already voted, so I know it can't be stopped no, I don't know, forgive my ignorance, but I don't know if having called it, he could say, well, we're going to postpone it. But before we started to vote, could he have postponed it because things got a little worse, having called it?
But bear in mind, that the spike really, when I'm looking at the statistics here, I mean, we had up to the 19th of August. He called it the 11th, and up to the 19th of August, we had 17 cases on the 19th. On the 20th, we had 46, and it went up like that. It really started to spike on the 24th of August.
Yep.
So I guess they wagered that, we were still, yes, we were still seeing cases going up, but they were not that spectacular as, the real big one was on the 26th of August.
Yep. Yep.
And then the next big one was on the 29th, and then it went up like that. So today we have about 224.
Yeah.
So, I don't think they would have, they could have postponed the election. They would have wanted to do that, having made the call. And, the election was so much in the air already, and it was like a horse chomping at the bits. And
Yeah.
let it through the gate, and there's no way you're going to be pulling it back.
Okay.
I have to ask you, Doc, do you think there'll be a spike in the cases due to this election, like they call the emancipation spike?
Yes, I fear there's going to be. I fear there's going to be, and you're not going to see that until around probably the middle of October.
And I want to
Sorry,
ask you,
the
I want
middle
to
of
ask you
September.
why we may see that kind of spike, because we were
Because,
up to August. I want to just go back to what you're saying. Up to August, we had a small amount. We were still going out and about. Borders were open.
right.
The spike came at the end of August. Is it that we are emancipation? Is it that we're gathering too many in a crowd? We're hugging when whichever the victorious party will be. Will there be a lot of hugging and partying? Is that what's going to drive
Well,
the spike, or is it walking to the polls and voting? What do you think? Your opinion?
God forbid that we should be congregating. I mean, we have already seen on nomination day what happened. And then, with the caravans that have been moving through, many of the communities, and people were starting to intermingle in ways that they should not have. The mistake that the government made was to have relaxed the protocols around what I'm saying, emancipendence. And people were able to just move up and down on the beaches and so on. And we're not, one can understand people wanted to be free. And I think the Minister of Health said they needed to get a little reward, so to speak, because of their good behavior. All of that in perspective. But when people really begin to mingle like that, you're going to have a problem with a virus like this.
Yeah. Dr. Nembhard,
It loves crowds.
sorry to jump in, sir. We're running out of time. The last election, my memory serves me right, we had like 47% voted. Do you think because of what's happening now, and there was no virus at that time, do you think because of what's happening now, it's going to be even less? And does that help or hurt anyone here?
People are going to be very careful, and they're driven by fear and so on. So one could see less people going out, especially the demographic 60 and over. And those people they're going to be very careful. As to who it may hurt, people say that the older, at least some of the analysts say that the older demographic tend to favor the PNP. And if that demographic really fears going out, that could be a further ding, on their voter turnout. But it is very difficult to say. What I would suggest is that people, when they go out, they really do observe the protocols and keep as much as possible wearing masks. There should be nobody out there without masks. And there is a talk about the people who are infected going out to vote. It is their democratic right to vote, and some accommodation has to be given for them. I'm not too clear as to what the electoral office is doing to accommodate those.
They said between 4 and 5 o'clock. They say those people will vote between 4 and 5.
Okay. Are they going to be protective equipment?
Yes, sir. That's what the protocol. That's what they have said. But they said that the people who have tested positive will vote between 4 and 5.
Doc, I'm wondering if like some of the other countries, if Jamaica will ever reach a point where you can post your vote. I wonder if we'll ever reach that point.
Online.
Vote online.
When the question came up about people being infected and should they vote and so on, that's the thought that came to my mind.
Yeah.
That we're going to have to get to a point where people should be able to do that.
Yeah.
But it takes a great deal of maturity, on the part of people to really, exercise their votes like that without the apparent fraud that could come from something like that. But
not my Jamaican people, Doc. Not my Jamaican people. We are open and honest. We have no corruption and fraud. Not my people.
Sir, we have to go, sir. Thank you so much for speaking with us. And please stay safe, sir. Thanks again.
Well, can I give me a last word just to say to encourage people to really, when you go tomorrow, put on your masks, observe the protocols, keep distance as best as possible, and everybody be safe.
Thank you, sir. Stay safe, sir. Thanks again.
My pleasure, sir.
Dr.
Thanks.
Raulston Nembhard, social commentator.